Quite an interesting topic we'll be studying now. We'll be studying the nature of economics. Is economics a science? Or is economics an art? Or economics is both a science and an art? And also in science, there are two types of science, positive science and normative science. So we'll be studying, is economics positive science or economics normative science? A lot of questions come from this part, and if you understand it finely, there is no scope of you answering them incorrectly in the exam. So let's start with a big question. Is economics a science? Well, how would we know that? Because we are commerce students. How do we know what science is? So I'll give you 5 parameters. If any subject satisfies these 5 parameters, that subject can be called as science. So the 5 parameters are: first, systematic body of knowledge; second, cause and effect relationship; third, capable of being measured; fourth, its own methodology; and 5 is the ability to forecast. So if any subject can fulfill these 5 conditions, that subject can be called as a branch of science, or that subject can be called as a science. Now let's see how economic fulfills all these 5 conditions. Starting with the first one. The first one was systematic body of knowledge. Well, economics is a systematic body of knowledge. If it was not, it could not be taught and learned. Right? So that's why it's a systematic body of knowledge, and that's why it is in our curriculum too. The second one is the cause and effect relationship. Now let's remember the law of demand. What did it say? Other things remaining constant, if the prices of a product went up, the demand for the same product would go down. Now what was the cause and what was the effect? The cause is the going up of prices. And what is the effect of it? The effect of it is that the demand of the product will go down. So yes, economic does studies cause and effect relationship. The third, is it capable of being measured? Can we measure economics? Yes, we can. In which format? In the format of money. Fourth, its own methodology. Does economics has its own methods? Yes. Which are the methods? There are 2 methods, inductive method and deductive method. And these 2 methods very soon we'll be studying. Fifth point, the ability to forecast. Does economics have the ability to forecast? Yes. With the help of economics, we forecast what would be the unemployment rate next year, what would be our GDP next year. So we forecast a lot of things using economics. Hence, economics fulfills all the 5 conditions, and economics can be called as a science. Now let's see whether economics is an art or not. Before we proceed, one name and his definition is very important. The name is J.M. Keynes, and the definition is: an art is a system of rules for the attainment of a given end. Remember, end is the result or the target, right? So according to Mr. Keynes, a system of rules for the attainment of a given target is called as an art. So basically, art means nothing but the practice of the knowledge. Science teaches us to know how to do, while as art teaches us to do. So when I say that I know a recipe, I can cook something, this is science because I have the knowledge to cook the recipe. But when I throw myself into the kitchen and I do the cutting and the chopping and I make something which can be eaten by humans, that is called as art. So science is theory, but art is practical. And let's look at economics. When we study economics, we just don't study, okay, the unemployment in India is X percentage. We also find out how do we drop it to Y percentage. Right? So economics is not just the study of facts. We also try to get some judgment, some value out of it. And this getting some judgment or getting the values out of it is called as arts. So hence economics is both science and arts. And very rightly, Mr. Kosa had stated, he was also an economist, and he stated, science requires arts and arts requires science, each being complementary to each other. Well, so now we know that economics is both a science as well as an art. And science has two bifurcation within itself. One is a positive science and the another is a normative science. And economics is both a positive as well as a normative science. So what is positive science and what is normative science? The best way to look at it is like let's look at the difference. So positive science states the fact, what it is, while normative says what it ought to be, what it should be. Right, that's the first difference. Suppose Phillips is eating Maggie. Now this is a positive science. What it is, what is he doing? He's eating Maggie. Considering Philip is an obese person, or considering Philip is a fat guy, what he should be eating? He should be eating salads, not Maggie. So what would normative say? Normative would say, Phillips, you should eat salads. Right? So you get the difference. Positive said, Philip is eating Maggie, while normative said, Philip, you should be eating salads. So in a way, positive wants to state facts, while normative wants to pass judgments. Positive is descriptive in nature, and normative is prescriptive in nature. Suppose you were sick and you went to a doctor. The doctor conducted few tests and found out that you had malaria. So, positive science is descriptive in nature. That's the method of finding out how you had malaria and the doctor conveying you the message, hey, you have malaria. And normative is prescriptive. Normative is when he prescribes you the prescription in which he writes that you need to take these 5 medicines for the next 5 days and you will be okay. Right? So this is positive and normative. The difference is positive is descriptive while normative is prescriptive. Well, the next difference is that positive studies cause and effect relationship. That means positive science will study, okay, because of this, this will happen. Because of that, this will happen. If you heat the water, the temperature of the water will go up. And normative will give you value judgments. Don't put your hand into the water when the water is hot, right? So positive science gives you cause and effect relationship, while normative science give you value judgments. The next difference is the positive science is positive aspects of science. It discusses only the positive aspect of science, while as normative science also discuss the ethical aspects of science. Suppose positive science will say yes, you can consume cigarette, but it is the normative science which will say that if you consume cigarette, your lungs will go bad. Right? So normative science is more concerned with the ethical part. What is ethical, what is not ethical, and that is why we give judgments on the basis of it. Positive science is strictly neutral between ends. It doesn't take any side. While as normative science is actually judgmental, and that's why it's not neutral between ends. It's not neutral between two targets. It will always drift you towards the ethical part. Also, when we read the definition of Robbins, we feel it's very closely related to positive science. While on the other side, when we read the definition of Marshall and Pigou, they are more in the normative nature. Now, let's play a simple game. It's more of a rapid fire game. I'll ask you a sentence and you have to judge in your head whether it's positive or it's normative. Ready for it? Let's go. Sentence number 1. India is overpopulated. Sentence number 2. Agriculture income should not be taxed in India. Sentence number 3. Service class people should be exempted from paying taxes. Sentence number 4. There is tremendous tax evasion in India. Wow, wonderful. I hope you got all the sentences correctly. And now for more practice, which is very required as this is an important topic and a lot of questions come from this, please go to our practice module and practice it.